Captain America had Falcon, Iron Man had War Machine, Doctor Strange had Mordo, Thor had Heimdall, even Ronan had Korath. Marvel sure does love their black sidekicks, huh? Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2 begins in Custer's Grove High School locker room with John Walker. After revealing Walker as the new Captain America in the last episode, the show really makes an effort to have us not hate him in this one, at least in the beginning. We meet his wife, Olivia Walker. Okay, Black girl. And we meet his wingman, Lamar Hoskins. Hoskins and Olivia both give Walker pep talks before he appears on Good Morning America. He has a big sit-down interview where they run down his extensive resume. Unlike Steve Rogers, who took the Super-Soldier Serum, all of Walker's physical gifts are natural. He's a decorated soldier, and the government actually studied his body at MIT, where he tested off the charts in every measurable category. We're shown through this scene that John Walker understands the big shoes he has to fill and is up to the challenge. Bucky watches the interview and is fuming, especially when Walker says that Steve Rogers felt like a brother to him. Sam meets up with Lieutenant Torres, who is helping him track the Flag Smashers in Munich. Posters of the new Captain America are littered all over the army base, reminding Sam of the choice he made. Bucky shows up pissed and confronts Sam for giving up the shield. He tells Sam that Steve chose him and he had no right to give it up. This sets Sam off. The subtext here is that Bucky has no business telling Sam what his rights are, especially considering the Civil Rights Act didn't happen until 20 years after he fell into the ice. Bucky invites himself on Sam's mission to track the Flag Smashers. He jumps out of a plane without a parachute and somehow is fine. Using Red Wing for recon, Sam and Bucky track them to a warehouse where they are stealing medicine. These two are arguing the whole time and throughout the episode. But one of the more memorable lines is when Falcon tries to make a joke about Buck's time in Wakanda.
Little time in Wakanda and you come out White Panther. It's actually White Wolf.
Falcon and Winter Soldier spring into action together for the first time since Endgame. The Flag Smashers are led by a young woman named Carly, who leaps into the air and flag smashes Red Wing in half. How you gonna do Red Wing like that, sis? They're losing to the Flag Smashers, but Walker and Hoskins show up just in the nick of time to help out. The new Cap shows off his skills as well as his ruthlessness, at one point pulling out his pistol and shooting a Flag Smasher without hesitation. John also shows off his skills with the shield, at one point saving Hoskins with it when he falls off the truck. But Walker is ultimately no match for Carly, and the Flag Smashers escape. Bucky and Sam begrudgingly take a ride from Walker and Hoskins, who goes by the name Battlestar. The new Captain America and Battlestar try to convince them that they should work together, and he's not trying to replace Steve. But Bucky doesn't want to hear it, and Walker eventually offends Sam too when he refers to him as his potential wingman. Okay, yeah, we're back to who the hell is this guy? At the Flag Smashers hideout, Carly gets a mysterious text. Someone wants to kill her for what she stole. Carly looks worried, despite the fact that she has the abilities of a super soldier. Who would scare her so much after seeing what she can do? Carly tells her squad that after tomorrow, there's no going back. They have something big planned. On the plane back to the US, Bucky suggests that he and Sam take the shield from Walker and defeat the Flag Smashers themselves. Sam says they can't just beat him up and steal the shield, but I wouldn't mind watching that. Sam thinks the situation is hopeless, but Bucky tells him that there is someone he should meet. They travel to Baltimore and visit the house of an Isiah Bradley. He's a soldier that Bucky had a skirmish with in his Hydra days during the Korean War. Isiah was dropped behind enemy lines to take out Bucky when no one else could. And he came close too, even taking off a piece of his metal arm. Isiah thinks the Winter Soldier might be at his doorstep to kill him, but Bucky tells Isiah that he isn't a killer anymore.
You think you can wake up one day and decide who you want to be?
The camera lingers on Sam for this line. You can tell it really hits home for him. Maybe giving up the shield wasn't a choice he had the right to make after all. If you swapped out Edith for the shield and John Walker for Mysterio, this storyline would almost be identical to Spider-Man Far From Home. Bucky asks Isiah for help in figuring out how there are more super soldiers like them out there. He is still haunted by the mistreatment he faced at the hands of the government and Hydra. He refuses to help Bucky and Sam and kicks them out of his house. Sam is up in arms about the fact that there was a Black super soldier that no one knew about. Bucky chose not to tell anyone about him because Isiah has already been through enough. As they argue in the street, the Baltimore police show up and are close to arresting Sam until Bucky reminds them who he is. but Bucky missed his court-mandated therapy session, so he is placed under arrest. At the police station, Sam meets Bucky's therapist, and John Walker shows up and uses his authority to release Bucky and add some flexibility to his therapy schedule.
We haven't finished our work. Who authorizes?
Sam and Bucky have an impromptu therapy session with Dr. Rayner. They argue some more, but eventually she is able to get to the heart of what's eating Bucky. The Captain America shield is Steve's legacy, and he handed it over to Sam because he believed in him. But Sam gave it away. Bucky's fear is that if Steve was wrong about Sam, then he was wrong about Bucky too. James Bond's making amends for his Winter Soldier assassinations is all anchored by the fact that Steve Rogers never gave up on him. This is why the shield means so much to him. Sam wants Bucky to understand his perspective, that he tried to do what he thought was right, but they can't see eye to eye, per usual. And they agree that once they've stopped the Flag Smashers, they go their separate ways. Bucky leaves Dr. Rayner implying that he will have to break rule number 2 and hurt someone. Outside of the police station, Walker and Battlestar brief Sam and Bucky on what they've learned about the Flag Smashers. They think they are taking the medicine she stole and giving it to camps of people in Central and Eastern Europe who have been displaced by the blip. Bucky still doesn't want to work with Walker, and Sam agrees that they shouldn't team up due to all the authorizations they need.
A word of advice then. Stay the hell out of my way.
Nah, I definitely don't like this guy. Forget anything I said nice earlier. If I said anything nice at all. He goofy. We don't like him. The Flag Smashers are in Slovakia loading a plane when they are suddenly alerted that Power Broker's men have found them. One of the Flag Smashers stays behind and sacrifices himself to hold the Power Broker's men off, and Carly and the Flag Smashers escape again. In the closing scene of the episode, Bucky decides that he has to go see the only other person that could help them unravel the Super Soldier mystery. Someone who knows all of Hydra's secrets. We hear Requiem in D minor, and the camera reveals Zemo sitting stoically in his prison cell. Okay, so what just happened? This episode introduces a bunch of characters from the comic books, starting with Lamar Hoskins as Battlestar. In Falcon, Winter Soldier, Battlestar is John Walker's magical Marvel Negro, who supports him and his quest to be the new Captain America. Marvel aren't the only one guilty of falling into the magical Negro trope, and there are notable exceptions like Nick Fury, and now Falcon, who is emerging as a standalone character. In the comics, Lamar Hoskins becomes the 5th character to assume the mantle of Bucky. Battlestar and the new Captain America attempt to help Falcon and Winter Soldier in their takedown of the Flag Smashers, but they are defeated and Red Wing is destroyed. R.I.P. We find out that the government was tracking Red Wing, and that's how they showed up in the nick of time. They faced off with the leader of the Flag Smashers, Karli Morgenthau. In the comics, Flag Smasher is one man named Karl Morgenthau, not an organization. The Flag Smasher stole something from someone called the Power Broker, and his men tracked them to an airport where they narrowly escaped. In the comics, the Power Broker is an evil businessman who sells black market superpower treatments. Could Karli and her group have gotten their super soldier serum from the Power Broker? After failing to apprehend Karli, Bucky introduces Sam to Isiah Bradley. Isiah Bradley is a black super soldier who faced off with and nearly killed Bucky decades ago. He was placed in prison for 30 years and was experimented on by the government and Hydra. He has no desire to relive his experience and refuses to help Sam and Bucky. In the comics, Isiah Bradley is known as the Black Captain America. He's a legend in the Black community and is even a guest of honor at Storm and Black Panther's wedding. His origins are just as disturbing in the comics too, as he and 300 Black soldiers are tested on by the government in an attempt to recreate the super soldier serum, not unlike the Tuskegee experiments. In his final mission, he absconds with the Captain America costume and shield to face a villain named Dr. Kosh. He wins, but is arrested for taking the shield and uniform. It's unclear if this is why Isiah was in prison in the MCU version, but he does say he got 30 years for being a hero. The young man who answered the door at Isiah Bradley's place could potentially be a comic book hero too. Isiah has a son named Josiah Bradley, who takes on the superhero name of Justice, and a grandson named Elijah Bradley, who becomes Patriot. They never say the name of the boy who answers the door, but guessing by his age, he's probably Elijah. After Bucky and Sam are kicked out of Isaiah's place, Bucky decides that he needs to try and get some answers from Zemo. Zemo was the man who tore the Avengers apart in Captain America: Civil War, but was ultimately captured and handed over to the US government by Black Panther. Bucky was a pawn in Zemo's Civil War plots, using the Hydra mind control commands to have the Winter Soldier do his bidding. But after being treated in Wakanda, Bucky's mind is free, and he will go face to face with Zemo again. That's it for episode 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. What did you think of the episode? Are you tired of Marvel always introducing a black sidekick for their main characters? What would it mean for Sam to actually become Captain America? Will the introduction of Isiah Bradley be a deeper part of Sam's journey, or is this another Ralph Boner? Let us know what you think will happen in the comments. Thanks for watching the Chitlin Circuit.